So in 4th and 5th verse, there's an enumeration of the qualities which really indicate a complete classification of the entire world of beings and their fields of experiences. And let's look at them again. And if you have any question, we can talk about it. Buddhi, Jnanam, Asamoha, Kshama, Satyam, Dama, Shama, Sukham, Dukham, Bhava, Abhava, Bhayam, Cha, Abhyam, Eva, Cha, Ahimsa, Samtaha, Tushtihi, Tapaha, Danam, Yasha, Ayasha, Bhavanti, Bhava, Bhutanam, Mata, Eva, Prithak, Vidha. Intellect, wisdom, non-illusion, forgiveness, truth, self-restraint, calmness, happiness, pain, birth or death, fear, and also fearlessness. Non-injury, equanimity, contentment, austerity, charity, fame, infame, all these different kinds of qualities of beings arise from me alone. From me alone. So it's like an exhaustive commentary upon the Lord's status as the Lord of all worlds. Sarvalok Maheshwaram. We all know if the presence of soul is not in the body, we really cannot feel any of this. Okay, so that's what he's trying to tell us, that all of these qualities, they get enlivened only when the divine energy is there. Okay, any question on this? Otherwise, we'll start with the next verse. Yes, Manju. Jyoti, can you make Manju unmute?
Hershey, I cannot see you.
You cannot see me?
No. I see somebody else. Manuji, I see him.
Huh.
So anyway, I don't know, maybe everybody can, then we proceed. No problem.
Can you all see me? Jyoti, can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
I see Manuji.
Huh. Are you on a gallery view up there?
No, just one person I'm seeing.
Okay, why don't you go on the gallery view? Then you will see everybody.
Where is that?
Jyoti, can you tell her?
There's a grid at the top. There's a grid at the top.
Okay, okay. Anyway, I won't waste anybody's time. We proceed. It's okay.
It's okay. Go ahead. Maybe somebody else has a similar problem.
I'm on the phone, so I don't see the grid. So maybe.
Oh, I see. On the phone. Yeah, on the phone you may not have the grid. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
If it's an iPhone, you can swipe to the left.
Yeah. So.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah. Yeah. Jay said that swipe to the left.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now I see you in one. Yes. Thank you so very much.
Okay. All right. So we'll start with number 6 today. Maharishyaha sapta purve chatvaraha manva tatha madbhava manasah jata yesham loke ima prajaha. Maharishi, that is a great rishi, Sapt, 7, Purve, ancient, like a first, Chatvara, 4, Manvaha, Manus, Tatha means also, Madbhava, possessed of powers like me, Manasaha, from mind, Jataha, born, Yesham, from whom, Loke, in the world, Ima, these, Praja, creatures. The 7 great rishis, the ancient 4, and also the Manus, possessed of powers like me, were born of my mind. From them are these creatures in the world originated and sustained. So 7 rishis, 4 Kumars and 14 Manus. We can look at it philosophically also, but we can look at it the way the Puranas explain it too. If we look at it philosophically, what is a 7 rishi? 7 rishis are the 5 senses, intellect, and ego. Those are the 7 rishis. So whether it's in the microcosm, like in our body, or in a macrocosm. In a macrocosm, it's like a total intellect, which is called Mahat, and the Ahankar, which is called the ego, and the 5 great elements. So who created them? God created them. How did he create them? From his mind. He wished for it and they got created. And 4 ancient, they are philosophically, it's like a antakaran, the subtle body. Mind, intellect, ego, and chit. But Puranically, they are 4 first sons of Brahma. Sanat, Sanak, and Sanatan, and Sanandan. Those are the 4 sons born from the mind of Brahma. And 7 rishis according to the Puranas. So philosophically, I told you those are the 7 things, the elements and the ego and the intellect. But the 7 rishis, Marich, Angira, Atri, Pulaste, Pulha, Kratu, and Vishishta. So in the Puranas, they talk about these 7 rishis, ancient rishis. If you're writing it, I'm going to repeat it again. Marich, Angira, Atri, Pulaste, Pulha, Kratu, and Vishishta. So these are, they were empowered with the task of procreation of the human population, the 7 rishis. And 14 manus. What are those? Manus are the one who formulated the code of conduct for human beings. Our behaviors, whether they are in public or private. Manu Samriti talks about it. But there have been 14 manus. The Puranas, they give the names of those manus also. Swambhu, Svarochishta, Uttam, Tamas, Ravat, Chakshusha, Vyavast, Suvarni, Daksh Suvarni, Brahm Suvarni, Dharam Suvarni, Rudraputra, Rochya, and Bhandyak. So these are the names of 14 manus. So they were empowered for the administration of humankind, for the establishment of the protection of Vedic Dharma. Currently, we are in the era of 7th Manu, Vyavast Manu. So this is called a Vyavasvat Manvantra. Manvantra is like a Manu and Antra. So after the Manu, the new Manvantra starts. Okay, so right now we are in the 7th Manvantra currently. So this is mentioned in the Puranas. And then if somebody says it's too complicated, just understand it philosophically. And the bottom line is, Lord Krishna is saying, I'm the one who created all this. So who created Brahma? Who created Manus? Who created the Rishis? They all came from that one power. So let's look at it again. The literal translation of this verse. The 7 great Rishis, the ancient 4, also the Manus, possessed of powers like me. So they are very powerful. Were born of my mind. See, mad bhava manasaha jata, from the mind. From them are these creatures in the world originated and sustained. So it's all of this what we see created from one, then all, then expanded like that. So that's what Lord Krishna is trying to tell us over here. Okay, so there's a lot of mysticism used in this verse, and we cannot ignore the mysticism, but at the same time we should not ignore the deep philosophy behind it too. Then Lord Krishna says in the next one, number 7, etam vibhutim yogam cha mam yaveti tatvata sa avikampen yogena yujyatena atra sanshaya. Etam, these, vibhutim, manifestations of my being, yogam, yoga power, cha means and, mam is mine, yahu, veti, knows, 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 tatvata, in truth, in essence, sa means he, avikampen. See, whenever there's a vikampana, there's a shaking. So avikampana means unshakable. Yogain in yoga, yujyate, becomes established. Na means not, atra means here, sanshya means doubt. He who in truth knows this, knows these manifold manifestations of my being. And this yoga power of mine becomes established in unshakable yoga. There is no doubt about it. So in other words, a person who in reality knows these two, he says, my vibhuti, my manifestations, my powers, and my yoga. So he gets established in the realization of the Supreme. So these two terms, vibhuti and yoga, it appears at several other places also. So manifold manifestations of beings, that's vibhuti, and yoga over here means his power. But knowing in reality, in essence, not just only theoretically, we know it too. We hear it all the time, we talk about it all the time, but we got to experience it. And how do we experience it? In samadhi. Okay. And what happens when we know this? See, this power, proper knowledge or experience of this enhances our love, our devotion for him. See, when we see God everywhere, God with all the power, there's nothing which cannot be done by God. There's no place where God is not. Of course, we're going to have more and more love. See, first theoretically we understand it, then we do the practice, then we experience it. So once we experience it, then he says, yujyatena atra sanshaya. Do not have any doubt about it. Because sometimes we might think that, no, maybe he's saying it just to console us. But he says, do not doubt this. That's how it is. So to know this implication and to live up to this is called that unshakable faith, unshakable yoga. It's like a permanent and steady establishment in the experience of God. And what exactly is the technique by which we can get ourselves to this level, where we say that we are established steadily and permanently in this unbroken experience. See, this avikampana means unbroken, all the time. everywhere, under any situation. So he says, listen to this further. Number 8, aham sarvasya prabhava mata sarvam parvartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava sumanvita. Aham, I, sarvasya of all, prabhava, the source, mata, from me, sarvam, everything, parvartate, evolves. Iti means thus, matva, understanding, bhajante, worship, mam means me, buddha, the wise, bhav sumanvita, endowed with the meditations. I am the source of all. It's pretty clear. Several times he said it, but over here he is saying it again. I am the source of all. Whether they are the Manus or the Maharishis or the Brahmas or the Rudra, everything, I am the source of all. Lower Prakriti, higher Prakriti, everything. From me, everything evolves. Understanding this, the wise, endowed with loving consciousness, not to be afraid of it, with a loving consciousness, worships me. So it's like God is everywhere, everything has come from God. And loving that kind of a God, that kind of, have the love feeling. He says, you'll be wise. That's how you become wise. Not to be afraid of it. I am the source of all. From me, everything evolves. Understanding this, the wise, endowed with the loving consciousness, worships me. And worships, again, we talk about it all the time. Worship really means loving me. Fall in love with God. And this love is very natural to us. Nobody has to teach us how to love. A mother starts loving a child even before seeing the child. Love is a natural part of our personality. So over here he says, love me. Love is measured by the capacity of the lover to identify himself or herself with the beloved. So when we start identifying ourselves with the God, that means those godly qualities also should come inside us too. Just not by saying it that Aham Brahmasmi, but having those qualities also. So love is fulfilled with the identification when the identification is complete. So what time is it? 10:28. So 10:30, we are going to give it 9 minutes of break and meditate, think about God, pray to God, whichever way you can connect with that, with the help of that light also.
I'll start the music at 10:30, he said.
10:30, start the music and I'll stop talking. But now let's read the next verse also, then we can talk about it after the meditation. Number 9, because in these verses, he's really telling us how my devotee is going to live. Because loving God doesn't mean that we are not interacting with his creation over here. He says, Machitaha madgat pranaha bodhyanta prasparam katyanta cha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. This is one of my favorite verses. Machitaha, with their minds completely in me. Madgat prana, with their life absorbed in me. Bodhyanta, enlightening, prasparam, mutually. They enlighten each other. No competition here. Katyanta, speaking of, cha means and, mam means me, nityam, always, tushyanti, satisfied, Ramanti, delighted. So he says, with their minds completely resting in me. So we got to see where our mind is rested. Is it in God or not? With their senses absorbed in me. And we know all our senses. We are the owner and the controller and the master of our senses. We should know where our senses are. So over here he says, with their senses absorbed in me, enlightening each other, and ever speaking of me, they are satisfied and delighted.
Okay,
We'll talk
10:30.
more about it afterwards. It's a beautiful verse to give a little pause also, and let's just meditate. We are very thankful to God who has given us this opportunity to do this. So, Manny, you can start, and then please. Bring your awareness towards the heart center. Palms in the prayer position. Bend your head a little. Thank your parents. Thank your Guru. And thank God. Okay, thank you very much for participating, and let's start with this verse 9. So any question, anybody? With their minds completely resting in me, with their senses absorbed in me, enlightening each other, and ever speaking of me, they are satisfied and delighted. Jyoti, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Everything is fine? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So a mind completely integrated in a steady single pointedness. That's what we learn. That's what we practice. Okay. And that's, if the mind is calm, only then it can be one pointed. And mind can be calm if their senses are calm also. Because how does mind get disturbed? Senses are the one which take the mind outside. So that's why he said, with their senses absorbed in me. And we should be familiar with all our senses. They are our senses, nobody else's senses. We should be the master of our senses, because we want to be master of our mind also, but try to become a master of your senses also. So 5 sense organs we have, they should be in our control. And discussing with one another, it's like a bodhyanta prasparam. Human beings are social beings. We work with people, we live with people. Our entertainment is also with other people. So he says, what should we discuss at that time? Enlightening each other. Bringing the best in the other person. That kind of a behavior, those kind of a discussions. And the same idea he is talking about, because we want to enjoy life. 2 terms over here he used, kridanti and ramanti and tushyanti. These are the three different terms. So krida is a pleasure that is derived as a result of our contact with something other than ourselves. For example, a bath or a dance or a play, something other than ourselves, or even going outside, playing golf, tennis. That's called a krida. We derive pleasure from it. Then there is a ramanti. He used the word ramanti. Raman is a pleasure that gets derived within ourselves, by ourselves. Ramanti. We can just keep on, just sit over here and keep thinking about the good times, and we are enjoying it. It's like imagination, dreams, plannings, remembrances. That's all ramanti. So he says, my devotee, when you start loving God, so you are satisfied thinking about God only. And wherever you go, whomever we talk to, you'll talk about the God. So that's what he means over here when he says, Kathyanti cha mam nityam. Nityam means always. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So contentment in these kind of activities. So even in the external world, you are living, but internally, you are satisfied with the thoughts of God. So a sense of contentment and delight. So a very healthy mental attitude. Outer atmosphere is also divine, sattvic, and internally also there's a divinity presence. So any question on this one?
Hersh, is Raman the same thing as mesmerizing?
Mesmerizing also. Yeah, you are just feeling good about it, but it's like you don't need anything in the outer world. It's just happening all internally.
Internally, okay.
Internally, right? That's why I said it could be imagination, right? It could be remembrance. You were somewhere where you felt good. See, just like if I want to sit over here and keep thinking about the time I spent with my Guruji. Right? It's like it happened in the past, but still those moments can be brought and feeling satisfied, content with that. We always have the choice to think about something, but he says, my devotee thinks about me. We all have the freedom to think because it's our mind. We are using our mind to think about something. So he says, and the key word over here is tushyanti. He's satisfied with that. So complete satisfaction, complete contentment, just thinking about me. That's Jonathan, what he's saying.
Jonathan has a question.
Yes, Jonathan.
Oh, actually, it's me.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, Kim.
Kim.
So sometimes when you're in social situations, you hear people say things that are divisive or misunderstanding or filled with hate toward another group or something like that. So I always wonder, like, what is our duty in do we have a duty to talk to these people and try to, like this passage says, enlightening one another and conversing about me. But I'm not at the level of a guru or anything. I'm never sure what I can say. Do we, have a duty to step in and say something, and how would you approach that?
Yeah, I see your point. It's a good question. We got to first of all see what our role is in that particular gathering. See, right now, as a teacher, to my students, I can talk like that. But if I go somewhere, those are not my students. So at that time, I should keep my mouth shut, because we don't want to disturb other people either, right? We are all, you said you are not a guru, but guru really means a leader. In your own home, between two of you, you can take the role of a guru. Right? Guru is the one who gives the knowledge. Some days Jonathan could be the guru, and some days Kim, you can be the guru. Okay, we all have that power to enhance somebody else's level. So his guru is not just a title. Guru is not a certain clothes we are wearing. Guru is just wherever we can give the knowledge. So the clearer the mind, easier it will be for us to decide, should I really say something right now or not? Certain places we are, it's better to keep our mouth shut. And certain places we need to say something. You don't have children, but there are a lot of parents over here. To our children, definitely, we need to tell them, it's our duty. To our grandchildren also. But where we work, maybe everybody is not ready to listen. Yeah. But if our mind is calm, we'll know who in our workplace is also hungry for this kind of a knowledge. We'll know whether we should share it or not. Over the years, I have worked in the corporate world. Some people, I definitely talked about Guruji also, about yoga also, but not to everybody. Okay, but again, the calmer the mind, easier the decision. Okay, so whenever, because we just don't want to brag about it, and we don't want to disturb somebody either. Some people, if they're not ready and we just start talking about Bhagavad Gita to them or yoga to them, they'll get disturbed also. So we should stay shut. And at that time, we are the master of our mind. In our mind, we can keep the same thoughts though. And more calm and content we are, the opportunities arise where we are open to talk like this also. See, like a few years ago, I couldn't even have thought about teaching you all. Now the opportunity has come where even on the Zoom we can talk. So God gives us the opportunities also when we desire to share it with other people. Okay, so is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So the first thing is we got to work on ourselves before we even start preaching and being a guru to other people. Start practicing on our own. Okay, so with their minds, see the first one we can start practicing with the minds completely resting in me. We don't need anybody else's help for that. Senses absorbed in me. That's why I always tell you, in your own homes also, you have several rooms. Every room should have at least one symbol or a picture of God. It could be your guru's picture, or it could be any form of God, or it could be a candlelight, it could be a sun, it could be a moon, anything where you see the divinity, so that your eyes see that right away. Enlightening each other. So whenever we speak truth. What is God? God is truth. At least we can do that. Always be truthful. Ever speaking of me, and satisfied and delighted in that. See, when we are not satisfied, then mind is churning. Mind is disturbed. When the mind is disturbed, it cannot be connected with God. So that's why there's a lot in this verse. We can either pick up one or all, but this is something we need to practice. Okay? So having reached this stage of progress, where do they get the guidance and the strength to fulfill their pilgrimage? He says, Tesham satat yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yen mam upyanti te. To them means these devotees, Tesham, to them. So who have decided to really walk on this pilgrimage. Satat yukta nam, ever steadfast. Bhajatam, of the worshipping. Priti purvakam, with love. Dadami, I give. So who helps us? God helps us. Buddhi yogam, what do I give them? The yoga of discrimination. Whether we should talk or not to talk. He says, I am with you all the time. You have to just only start walking on this path. I am with you. That's why they say when we take one step, God comes towards us 7 steps. 7 means manifold. Tam means that, yen means by which, ma means to me, upyantihi, come. Te means they. To them. So don't forget that this is in connection with the previous verse. We have to do our homework also. We have to become that kind of a devotee, that kind of a student. To them, ever steadfast, worshipping me with love. Not with fear, with love. I give the buddhi yoga by which they come to me. The highest part of our personality is the intellect. So he says, I give my devotees who love me that kind of an intellect where they make the proper decision. What to say, what not to say, where to go, where not to go. What is truth, what is not truth. I give that buddhi yoga by which they come to me then. The whole journey is clear. The goal is clear to these kind of devotees. So what was said in the previous verse, control your senses. At least start doing that. Fill the mind with the love of God. Initially, we might have to just keep the chantings on, or maybe go to the temple, or maybe do the fastings, but remembering that all of those means for that goal, so that our mind is fully absorbed in God. That's why we are doing it. Whether we are doing the meditations or the prayers or the selfless service, no matter what we are doing, the goal is loving God. Okay, so he says, to those alone who have become steadfast in their contemplation at all the levels of their personality. I'll give them necessary strength and ability over all the ranges of their ignorance, because knowledge I give. With the help of the knowledge, we will climb above those ignorances. Ignorances could be doubts also. Ignorance could be what to do, what not to do also. Okay. So, Buddhi Yoga. We've learned about this Buddhi Yoga term in the second chapter also. You should always go back. We study together every week, but I would say these are the days when you go back and study on your own also. Start from the beginning. Start studying. You will see that a lot of clarification will come in from these verses, which are connected with the previous verses. Okay. So when through the above processes of bringing the mind to quietness, what really happens? The agitations of the mind, in Sanskrit it's called the vikshep, agitations of the mind. When there's no agitation, then this little covering which is over our intellect, it gets removed. And that's called avarna. See, light is there, soul is there, God is everywhere. Only thing is we got to just remove that veiling. Okay, so vikshep and avarna, they get removed. And this is the state of experience of samadhi, and which is the fulfillment of the Buddhi Yoga. So all of these terms, they just fit together. But work we have to do. Have a disciplined life, full faith in it, and keep on progressing. And through this Buddhi Yoga, what exactly does God provide for us? Number 11. Tesham ev anukampartham aham agyanajam tama nashyami atam bhavasatha jnana deepen bhasvata. Tesham means for them. Ev means only. Anukampartham, out of compassion. Anukampa, out of compassion. Aham I, agyanajam, born of ignorance, tamaha, darkness. Nashyami, I destroy. Atam bhavasatha, dwelling within their heart. Jnana deepen, by the lamp of knowledge. Bhasvata, luminous. Out of mere compassion for them. Okay. See, even the Guru and the God, they take birth in these human bodies. They go through all this growth and aging and all that. Compassion for us. They don't have to come, but they feel compassion for us. So that's what Lord Krishna is saying over here. Out of mere compassion for them, I, dwelling within their heart, destroy darkness, born of ignorance, by the luminous lamp of knowledge. So this is what Buddhi Yoga does to us. Gives us the light of knowledge. Okay, it's a God's grace. You remember last time I told you? The three things always remember. Grace, definitely God wants to grace us. But the other two things we need to do. One is we got to do our dharam, our duties, live a life of righteousness. That we must do. And second thing we need to do, keep our mind calm, pure. Because sometimes we can say that I'm doing my duty, but mind is still disturbed. But mind has to be calm. And mind has to be clean also. Or somebody can say, no, my mind is calm and clean, but I don't need to do my duties. That's not right either. We have several duties. We have a duty towards our body. We have a duty towards our family. We have a duty towards the extended family. We have a duty towards the nation. We have a duty towards the whole universe. Doing our duties, keeping the mind calm and clean, and then comes the grace. So over here, he's talking about the grace. That's why in the last two verses, he's telling us what to do, how to live in this mortal body also. Keep the senses control, keep the mind control, do our part, and then he says, I will grace you. This out of compassion, because he says, my child is doing what he or she is supposed to do. Now I will do my part. And with his grace, darkness will be lifted and light will be there. Okay? So out of mere compassion for them, I dwelling within their heart. So he says, I already dwell in there. It's not that God is not there. But we just have the veil of that ignorance. But he says, I destroy darkness born of ignorance by the luminous lamp of knowledge. So this compassion cannot be directly invoked unless we play our part. That's very important. Because some people say, no, why doesn't he do it? No, we got to do our part also. Okay, so there could be a beautiful sunlight outside. If I keep all the doors and the windows and the curtains closed, and I say that no sunlight should come in, it will not come in. For the sunlight to come in, I'll have to open the windows and the doors and the curtains or the blinds, whatever is covering it. So the same way God's grace is there, we got to do our part also. Okay. Now Arjuna, he's listening so carefully. I mean, you can imagine where he was and where he has come. He's just totally focused into this knowledge now. So next few verses, those are Arjun's comments and the questions also. And he's going to ask Lord Krishna, where can I see you? You say I'm everywhere. How do I really connect with you? And in the rest of the chapter, we'll see that Lord Krishna is giving beautiful examples that I am in the sun also, I'm in the Ganges also, I'm in the moon also, I'm in the mountains also. I'm everywhere. Choose one place. 75 different examples. See, just like in Yog Darshan, Rishi Patanjali, he gives us many examples how to calm our mind, how to purify our mind. And then the end, he says, wherever you see the divinity, whichever way you can connect your mind to divinity, do that. And that's exactly what Lord Krishna is doing over here too, giving us many, many different examples over here. So let me just read number 12 and 13 together, and then we'll go over the details next week, okay? So Param Brahm, Paramadham, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum, Ahu Tvam Rishya Sarve, Dev Rishi Narda Tatha, Asita Devla Vyasaha, Swayam Cha Ev Bravo Shime. He says, you are the Supreme Brahma. See, there's a difference between Brahma and the Brahma. I'm sure most of you know that. Brahma is one power of God, creative power. Brahma is only one. Brahmas come and go. Okay? So you are the Supreme Brahma, the Supreme Abode, the Supreme Purifier, eternal, divine Purush, the God of all gods, unborn, omnipresent. All the rishis have declared you thus, as also the Dev Rishi Narad, so also Asita, Devala, Vyas, and now the same you yourself say to me. So this is where Arjun starts his commentary, little bit commentary, and then the question also. So I'll give you the details of this next week. So anybody has any question pertaining to today's topic? You can raise hand, and after that we'll do the Shanti Mantra, and anybody who wants to stay on, that's fine. We can have some conversation for another half an hour, but if you have to leave after the Shanti Mantra, you can leave also. So any question?
Kim has a question.
Yes, Kim.
Kim.
No, she's muted. Yeah, now she's unmuted.
Oh.
In the previous verse 11, I feel like this is another example of a passage from the Gita that sounds so clear and true and simple, but when you try to apply it to your life, it's it's very, very hard for me anyway. So you say we have to do our dharma and live a life of righteousness, do our duty to our family and also to our nation, and keep our minds calm and pure. But I find that when I try to do my duty to society or live a life of righteousness, it's impossible to have my mind calm. When you see all the suffering around you, and to think about the very small thing you might be able to do or might not, how to do the duty and also be calm. That's the
yeah, I hear you. Remember when we talked about the Karam Yoga? A Karam Yogi is who does the duty, not stays focused on the result. So if you are a Karam Yogi, see, work itself, action itself does not disturb us. The result disturbs us. So if we always remember that result is not for me, result is just a little prasad for me, just like when you come to the ashram and you take a little prasad. So whatever you get, that's just a prasad for you. The rest, you just did it for the sake of doing it. Or if you want to raise your consciousness to a little higher level, just think that you are doing it only for God. Why should you get disturbed? Let God he should be disturbed. You did it for him, not for yourself. So more and more if you do that, then there won't be any disturbance. Again, this has to be done consciously first, then it becomes a nature. Like if you cook for Jonathan, if it doesn't turn out to be a good dish and he complains about it, but on the other hand, if you say that I did my best, see, you got to put 100% into it. Do your best. You don't want to do a half good of a job. Put full skillfulness in there. Do it lovingly, but do it selflessly. Then there won't be any disturbance. So this is the practice we need to cultivate. Okay? So slowly, just one step at a time. Okay? So result is the one which gives us agitation, that I put so much into it and I did not get enough from it. No. Result, we don't want to worry about it. We don't want to do actions because of certain result. I want to do the actions because it's my duty to do it. That's it. Duty should be the motivation, not the fruit. Then there's no disturbance. I did my best. That's it. Okay, makes sense, Kim? Anybody else?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, yeah, think about it, and then if you want to discuss further, there's always future time next week. If anybody else has a better answer, please feel free to appease her. Sujata? Jyoti, you can unmute
I did.
Sujata.
I did.
I think what Kim is talking about is it's why the whole Gita started. What should I do and how should I do it? And is this right? And that's the central question of the book, I think. And so he's continuously answering that in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel, And so from time to time, I mean, when he comes out with some of these uh, things that he requires of us, that's the struggle. I mean, that each one of us faces is how to do this, and he's constantly telling us how. So I think in different ways.
Yeah, different ways, but to me, I think the bottom line is become a Karam Yogi first. That is a step number 1. Karam Yogi. And you remember Karam Yogi, those 3 elements are very important to become a Karam Yogi. Skillfulness, love in what you are doing, and selflessness. No matter what you are doing, then you are a Karam Yogi. Then after that comes Gyan Karam Sannyasi. Knowledge that there's a God. No matter what you're doing, there's a God present because God is everywhere. Then the third level is where you understand, I'm not even doing it. See, Karam Yogi thinks I am doing it, but I want to do it selflessly. Ordinary person, not a Karam Yogi, ordinary person thinks that I am doing it for myself, doing a favor to somebody else, and I am doing so much and I should have the result also. And that's where the disturbance comes, that's where the agitation comes, that's where the problems come. So Lord Krishna is even telling Arjuna to wage this war. This is a duty to wage the war, not for himself. Just do it because you are supposed to do it. Because as a king, you are supposed to protect your kingdom. Okay, so we got to, from an ordinary level, we got to rise above to the Karam Yogi level. Then inch up. Then inch up. Where we are right now, where he is saying that have a mind calm. Do your duty. And then ignorance will be removed. This is a very high level. Very high level. But first we have to do our part. And maybe few minutes a day we can feel this. When mind is calm, when we are meditating or when we are praying or when we are just fully absorbed in the divinity, we can feel this. And this kind of a feeling, this kind of a peacefulness will push us into the other areas also. Help us conquer the ignorance in other places too. Okay, any other question? Anybody else? Alka, you have a question? No? Okay, all right. If nobody has a question, let's do the Shanti Mantra. People who need to leave, they can leave, and rest of you can stay even longer. And we can unmute everybody then at that time, Jyoti, and people can just talk. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much. It was a delight to have you all and to do the meditation also.